Hi, and welcome to the Unit 4 test review video. We're going to go through all the problems on the review. All right, starting with this first section, it says identify and label the key features of the quadratic function graph below. All right, so up here, this equation here is in standard form, and it's just telling you the equation of the parabola here, which we really don't need right now. We can just look at the graph and identify all of these features. So starting with our vertex, here's our vertex. Our vertex is at 1, -4. So we're going to write that here, 1, -4. Our axis of symmetry always goes straight through the vertex. So the axis of symmetry will be x equals 1. Notice how that 1 is the same x value as the vertex. All right, the domain is always negative to positive infinity for our quadratics in this class. And the range represents the y values from bottom to top. So we look at the bottom. Our lowest y value here, lowest y value here is at 4. So we start at 4. And as the y values increase, our graph is heading towards positive infinity. The two x-intercepts are here and here. That's where your graph crosses the x-axis at -1 and 3. The y-intercept is right here at -3, so we're going to say 0, -3. And if you don't have a graph, you can always look at the c value of standard form, and that's going to tell you the y-intercept. All right, moving down, graph the quadratic function f of x equals -2x, x minus 2 squared plus 1. All right, so from the equation, we can identify the vertex. Well, first, let's identify a, h, and k. Our a value is -2, our h value is +2, and our k value is 1. So that means our vertex is at 2, 1. Our axis of symmetry goes right through the vertex. So our axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Domain is always negative to positive infinity. And the range x-intercept and y-intercept, we don't know just yet. So we're going to use this table to the right to determine what our other points are. Vertex is at 2, 1. And then we'll copy down the equation in the top center. And now we want to choose the x values, 2 numbers before 2 and 2 numbers after 2. These x values are going to be plugged in for x in the equation. So when we solve these, we're using PEMDAS, regular order of operations. Starting with the inside of parentheses, which here we have 0 minus 2, which gives us -2. Then we go on to exponents. -2 squared is +4. Then we move on to multiplication. -2 times 4 is -8. Plus 1 gives us -7. For the next problem, we have 1. Again, starting from the inside, 1 minus 2, -1. -1 squared is 1. Oh, we just did that. Yeah. -2 times 1 is -2. Plus 1 gives us -1. And then you'll do the same for the 3 and the 4. All right, so 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times -2 is -2. Plus 1, -1. Next we have 4 minus 2, which is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. This one, negative 7. So if you, for any reason, did not get the same numbers here and here, your math was wrong and you need to double check your math. The numbers should repeat. So we can go ahead and plot these. We have 0, negative 7, 1, negative 1, oops, 3, negative 1, and 4, negative 7. So our parabola looks something like this. Now we can look at the range. Again, the range from bottom to top. This thing move. Okay, so from bottom to top, our lowest point is negative infinity, and our highest point is 1. Now our x-intercepts are about right here. So it's not exactly on 1 or 3, so we can estimate it to be 1.25, 0, and 2.75, 0. Our y-intercept is at negative 7, right here. Negative 7. All right. Moving on to the back page, it says, what is the equation of the graph in vertex form? So vertex form, we need the vertex. Our vertex here is at negative 1, 8. And then also in vertex form, we need the a value. When we calculate the a value, it's going to be rise over run squared. So when we do this, we start at the vertex and we look for the nearest pretty point, which happens to be right here. So how many did we rise? Well, we went down 2 and we went over 1. 1 squared is just 1, and negative 2 over 1 is negative 2. So our a value is negative 2. So we will say y equals negative 2 x. Now the h, when we write the vertex, let me write this vertex. When we write the vertex, these points are h and k. So that h is going to go right here. But remember, insiders lie. So it's negative 1 in the equation. We're going to say plus 1. And our k value stays the same. So for the next one, we need the roots or the intercepts, the x-intercepts. Those are going to go on x1 and x2. Where it says x, you just put the x there. Nothing else, just the letter x. So writing the equation again, we're going to say y equals that a value, same a value, and then we'll put the two x-intercepts. Remember that insiders lie, x lies. So here we have an x-intercept at negative 3. So in the equation, I'm going to say plus 3. My other x-intercept is at positive 1, so I'm going to say minus 1. Now to get the equation in standard form, we're going to simplify. We start by multiplying out. So we have here negative 2 times x squared plus 3x minus x minus 3. Combine our like terms in the middle here. And then we can distribute that too. So negative 2x squared, negative 4x, and positive 6. So our standard form is y negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. Awesome. Move on. Focus and directrix, my favorite. So yes, your equation says y minus k, but we are used to the k being on the other side. So let's go ahead and write it on the other side. All right, so anytime you're given focus and directrix, we're just going to take the information and put it in the graph. So we have negative 2, positive 2 for our focus, and y equals negative 4 for the directrix. Now we know that the vertex is going to go directly in between those, so our vertex should be about here. And our p-value represents the distance between those. The distance here is 3. So vertex is -2, -1, and our p-value is 3. So we already have everything we need to write the equation, so we're going to use our vertex form, which is right at the top here, y equals 1 over 4p x minus h squared. So y equals 1 over 4p. Our p here is 3. And my hk comes from the vertex. Remember, insiders lie, x lies. There's our equation. Let's simplify it by multiplying that denominator. So our equation is going to be 1 over 12 x plus 2 squared minus 1. Now, if we wanted to graph the other 2 points to see where the parabola went, we could look at the 12 here, go to our focus, and half of 12 is 6. So we'll go 6 to the right and 6 to the left. Then we can see our parabola goes a little wide there, just like that. All right, moving on, we got another one. Here they give us the vertex 2, -3, and directrix at y equals 1. This is our vertex, so the focus is going to go on the other side of the vertex. Our p-value is right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and it's going down. So the p-value is -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And our focus is going to go further. So our focus is at 2, -7. Okay, now we have everything we need to write our equation. So using the same equation from before, we have y equals 1 over 4p. Our p here is -4. X minus h. It's positive 2, so we're going to say -2 and -7. Now let's rewrite it, simplifying that denominator. -1 over 16 x minus 2 squared minus 7. We can look at that denominator of 16 and go to the focus, go 8 to the right and 8 to the left. So our parabola goes something like that. All right. Next it says complete the square and identify the key features. All right, so when we complete the square, we need to look at the a value. Here our a value is 1, our b is -8, and our c is 3. Knowing that the c is 3, we already know that our y-intercept is 0, 3. The other key feature we need is the vertex, which again is hk. All right, so completing the square, usually we would factor out a number first, but our a value is 1, so we don't need to factor anything out. We can go right into completing the square. So we'll say x squared minus 8x plus blank plus 3 minus blank. Then we can do our b value, b over 2 squared. Our b value here is -8. -8 divided by 2 is -4. And -4 squared is 16. So that 16 is going to go right above here and over to the right as well. Now we can write our equation. Our equation is going to be y equals x, and then our h value comes directly from the base of the exponent, -4. And the k value on the outside here comes from the outside math. -3 plus 16 is -13. So our vertex is, here's our h, here's our k, 4, -13. All right, so this one we have an a value of -4, so we do need to factor that out from the first two terms. Now that -4 doesn't just disappear, it hangs out in front. Now that we have factored it out, we can go ahead and fill in, put our blanks there. Plus blank, 6 minus blank. Let's calculate our b value, b over 2 squared. Now b over 2, here our b value, a, b, c. Our b value is 4 over 2 squared. So 2 squared, which is 4. So that 4 is going to go right above into that center box. But to get that outside box, we're going to have to say -4 times 4, which is -16. Now, notice we have a double negative here. Minus negative means we're adding. So to write our equation, we're going to say y equals the a value, -4, x, the h is the base of the exponent. It's plus 2, so we say plus 2. The k value is outside. So 6 plus 16, that is 22. So our vertex here is -2, 22, and our y-intercept comes from that c value, 6. All right, moving along. I'm going to come back to these later, the regression problems. You need a computer for this. Does All right, transformations. Write an equation in vertex form with the following transformations. All right, vertical stretch of 2, that represents the a value. Shift right 1, that means in the equation we're going to say x minus 1. And then shift down 7 minus 7. So we're going to say y equals -2 x minus 1 squared minus 7. Next one, vertex form. Vertical compression of 1/2, that's your a value. Vertex is hk, x minus 3 squared plus 9. Remember, insiders lie. Last one, or not last one, two more. Vertical compression of 1/3, that's our a value. Reflection across the x-axis means we're going to have a negative in front. Shift left 2 means positive h. Shift up 4 means positive k. So positive 2 squared plus 4. Last one, vertical stretch of 3, that's a. Here's our h and k. X plus 2 squared minus 5. All right, I think that's it. Okay, so I'm going to open up Desmos. This here. Open this one. Desmos. Okay, so I know if you're in my class, we did it a little different than Mr. Story's class. So if you're in Story's class watching this, I'm sorry. Okay, so regression, we start with a table, and we're going to type in all of the values of the table. Now, typically that first column, or sorry, that first row is the x values, and these are jumping by 5s up until 70. Perfect. And the y is 22, 3. Oops. All right. And in my class, we hit this little button over here on the left, add regression, and we can see the linear regression first. So looking at the r squared, the linear regression is 0.1132. and the quadratic regression is 0.9675. So this is definitely the quadratic regression. So we're going to say, what is the equation? We're going to copy that equation down. Y equals negative 0.008. I'm just going to round to 3 decimals. 0.748x plus 13.459. Okay, and again, we are choosing the quadratic regression. So let's say quadratic is better for this data because the r squared is closer to 1. How much fuel would be used if going 42 miles per hour? So we're going to go to a new line on our calculator, and it says fuel. We want to know how much fuel if they're going 42 miles per hour. So that's the speed. So speed is x. So if x equals 42, what is y? So here we'll say x equals 42. Look at our calculator. We're looking for that line. There it is. Zoom in right there. If you click on it, you'll see a coordinate point. So when x is 42, you are using 30.312 miles per gallon, I guess. Okay. Now for the next problem, it says use regression to find the equation that best fits the graph below. So we can exit this out, do a new table. And while this one doesn't tell us the coordinate points, so we have to figure them out ourselves. This one says negative 2, 2, negative 6, and this is 4, 0. So typing that data in, we have 0, 12, 2, negative 6, 2, negative 6, and the last one is 4, 0. Cool. Hit the button. We have linear regression, r squared is 0.428. Quadratic is 1, so that is definitely quadratic. Also, the graph is a straight up parabola, so very obvious here. Our equation is going to be 3x squared minus 15x is 12. Awesome, that was pretty easy. Oh, and I guess that's it. That's all we have for today. So thanks for watching. Please complete the review and turn it in for 5 extra points on your test. And I'll see you tomorrow.